In early 2025, President Trump reinstated tariffs on goods from Canada, Mexico, and China. This move marked a significant shift in U.S. trade policy, aiming to address long-standing trade imbalances and perceived unfair trade practices. The administration believed that these tariffs would level the playing field for American businesses and workers. The goal? To protect American industries and bring back manufacturing jobs. By imposing these tariffs, the administration hoped to incentivize companies to produce goods domestically rather than outsourcing to other countries. This was seen as a way to revitalize the American manufacturing sector, which had been in decline for decades. The most significant tariffs were a 25% levy on goods from Canada and Mexico, and a 10% tariff on goods from China. These tariffs targeted a wide range of products from raw materials to finished goods, affecting various industries and supply chains. Economists warned of a potential trade war and negative impacts on American consumers. They argued that the increased costs of imported goods would likely be passed on to consumers, leading to higher prices for everyday items. Additionally, there were concerns about retaliatory tariffs from affected countries, which could further escalate the situation. Despite warnings, the administration pressed ahead, citing the need to protect American jobs and reduce the trade deficit. Supporters of the tariffs argued that the long-term benefits of a stronger domestic economy would outweigh the short-term costs. They believed that a more self-sufficient America would be better positioned to compete globally. However, the impact was felt in rising prices of everyday goods. Consumers began to notice the increased costs at the checkout counter, from groceries to household items. The tariffs also affected the automotive industry, with car prices seeing a noticeable uptick. From cars to groceries, the cost of living for Americans began to climb, raising questions about the true cost of Trump's trade war. As the debate continued, the nation watched closely to see if the promised benefits of the tariffs would materialize, or if the economic strain would prove too great for American families. The impact of Trump's tariffs was felt most acutely by ordinary Americans in their wallets. These tariffs, essentially taxes on imported goods, led to a cascade of price increases across various sectors. One of the most significant impacts was in the automobile industry. The tariffs affected not just the price of cars but also the cost of parts and repairs. With a 25% tariff on cars and trucks from Canada and Mexico, the price of new and used vehicles skyrocketed. This meant that consumers had to dig deeper into their pockets to afford a vehicle. The average price of a new car shot up by nearly $3,000. This increase was felt by families and individuals who rely on their vehicles for daily commutes and activities. The grocery aisle offered no refuge from the price hikes. Everyday essentials became more expensive, putting a strain on household budgets. Tariffs on agricultural imports from Mexico and Canada caused grocery bills to swell. Items that were once affordable became luxury purchases for many families. The cost of everything from avocados to beef surged as tariffs disrupted supply chains. Fresh produce and meat prices saw significant hikes, affecting daily meals. Even filling up the gas tank became more expensive. The tariffs on oil imports had a direct impact on fuel prices. The 25% tariff on Canadian oil translated to higher prices at the pump. This was a significant burden for those who rely on their vehicles for work and travel. Drivers saw gasoline prices jump by 30 to 40 cents per gallon, straining household budgets. The cumulative effect of these tariffs was a noticeable increase in the cost of living for many Americans. The impact of Trump's tariffs extended beyond immediate price hikes, affecting various sectors of the economy in profound ways. The tariffs fueled inflation, slowed economic growth, and triggered retaliatory measures from trading partners. Consumers felt the pinch as everyday items became more expensive and businesses faced higher costs for imported materials. Economists' warnings about inflation proved prescient. They had long cautioned that such trade policies could lead to higher prices and reduced economic activity. The rising cost of imported goods created a perfect storm for inflation. As tariffs took effect, the cost of goods from abroad surged, leading to higher prices on store shelves. The consumer price index surged, eroding consumer purchasing power. Families found it harder to make ends meet as their dollars didn't stretch as far as they used to. The GDP growth rate slowed as businesses grappled with higher input costs. Companies had to make tough decisions, often cutting back on investments and hiring. The Trump administration had predicted the tariffs would boost GDP, but the reality was a decline in economic output. The anticipated benefits failed to materialize, leaving the economy in a more precarious position. The tariffs triggered retaliation from Canada, Mexico, and China. These countries, key trading partners, responded with their own tariffs, escalating the trade conflict. These countries imposed their own tariffs on U.S. goods, targeting key American exports. Farmers and manufacturers were hit hard, facing reduced demand for their products abroad. This tit-for-tat tariff war disrupted global trade, creating uncertainty in the markets. Investors and businesses alike were left navigating a landscape of unpredictability, with long-term consequences still unfolding. Trump's tariffs exposed a deep rift within the Republican Party. The tariffs ignited a fierce debate, highlighting the divide over the future direction of Republican economic policy. Staunch Trump supporters applauded the tariffs as necessary to protect American jobs. Traditional pro-business Republicans warned of negative consequences for American companies and consumers. The debate highlighted the growing tension within the Republican Party between populist nationalism and traditional pro-business conservatism. Ironically, Trump's tariffs impacted the very sector they aimed to protect, American manufacturing. Instead of a manufacturing renaissance, the tariffs led to job losses and factory closures. The tariffs increased costs for American manufacturers, making them less competitive. Disrupted supply chains forced manufacturers to find alternative sources, often at higher costs. Retaliatory tariffs further compounded the problem, making it harder for American manufacturers to export their goods. The real human cost of Trump's tariffs was evident in the struggles of ordinary American families. Families grappled with the rising cost of living and shrinking paychecks. The tariffs' inflationary impact hit family budgets hard. Rising costs of groceries, gasoline, clothing, and electronics stretched paychecks further. Many families had to cut back on essentials, dip into savings, or go into debt. The tariffs also had a ripple effect on employment. While some sectors saw temporary job increases, others experienced job losses. The economic uncertainty created anxiety and insecurity for many Americans. Trump's tariffs left an indelible mark on the global trading system. The tariffs upended decades of trade liberalization, raising barriers and fueling tensions. The tariffs marked a significant departure from the post-World War II consensus on free trade. The shift in U.S. trade policy had profound implications for the global trading system. The tariffs left a legacy of distrust and uncertainty. Trading partners now faced a more volatile and unpredictable landscape. This uncertainty made it difficult for businesses to plan for the future and engage in long-term trade relationships. The full impact of Trump's tariffs on the global trading system will continue to unfold for years to come.